What is going on, everybody? As I said, 12 o'clock, here to talk with you guys. For those that are interested in our missions trip, once again, many of you who prayed for us, who supported us on our missions trip. Hello, Miss Jonqua. I wanted to come to you guys and just let you guys give opportunity, hey Dallas, to give you guys opportunity to ask about the trip. If you have questions or anything like that, I want to be able to answer them. Hey Stephanie, good to see you. And tell Brian I said hello, Miss Stephanie. Thank you, Miss Janice. And so if you have questions about our trip, of course, I'll share a few things. But this is more an opportunity for you guys that don't normally get to answer. I mean, we're going to do, a little slideshow tonight. We're going to do a slideshow for Sunday and all that kind of stuff. But a lot of people don't get to ask questions about our trip. Hey, Mr. Band-Aid. Mr. Band-Aid, hope you're ready for tonight, sir. You're kicking things off, right? And all right, changing location here to get a better internet connection. Let's see. What's going on there? Yeah, I know, Dallas. I wish I could figure this thing out. It's probably my phone. I don't know why it's my phone, but I never had problems with it before. But I'm at least in a place where maybe there's a slightly better connection. So there are people that are jumping in new here, trying to figure out what I'm talking about. The fact is, I just got back along with Jonqua and. All right, I think I might have fixed the problem. So let's carry on with that. Let's see. Is this any better? Hopefully this is better. Like I said, I'm only going to be on with you guys for about 20 minutes here. So I just wanted to, I think we're good. I think we're okay. I think we're going to make it. I think we're going to make it, people. Hey, Glenn. Good to see you, man. There we go. Good. Now we're happening. Now we're cooking with gas here. All right. So, do you guys have any questions for me? Let me tell you the setup here. Like I said, for those that are coming in new, we spent about 8 days, 10 days total, 2 days travel days, 8 days in Honduras, in the city of Tegucigalpa. And we were based out of a church called CEAD, which is CEAD. And that's the Church Evangelical Assembly of God Church. Or Christian Evangelical Assembly of God Church. That's what it is. And Pastor Bill Strickland, who is the missionary there and has been pastoring there for over 30 years, allowed us to come and be a part. We went with our statewide DYD directors, Steve Mason and Crystal Mason. We want to thank them for doing a great job of putting together the whole event, putting together the missions trip, joined by a bunch of other folks from around the state. We had 69 people total, which worked out really, really good. It's our second largest mission trip we take. I think last year maybe we had 71, somewhere around there. But just got in last night, probably around 2 a.m. probably, driving in from Atlanta. And so overall, it was a very, very, very good trip. We had a good time. But more importantly, we did a lot of ministry things. There's different kinds of mission trips. There's building trips. There's, service trips. There's trips like we took with students, which we did a lot of drama for schools. We did a lot of school evangelism. Hey, Cameron. Did a lot of school evangelism, which was super effective. Kids did a great job of doing dramas, things like that. Also, for us as pastors, we were able to participate with the church. We baptized over close to 300 people. Not everybody showed up, but almost 300 people we baptized. And just a lot of cool things. Let me tell you, the people of Honduras are just super people. The people of the church, the people of the community, all great people. Fantastic people. Thank you, Cameron. So, but that's kind of the gist of the trip. So now if you guys have any questions for me, be happy to entertain any questions you may have about the trip to Honduras, and I'll be happy to answer them. Uh, was this my first trip? No. No, this is my first, I should say this is my first trip to Honduras. That is correct. Last year, we took the team to Costa Rica. The year before that, we took them to Alaska. Let's see, year before that, somewhere in there, well, I also took a bunch of kids to Atlanta, which is to show you that, both that a missions trip isn't necessarily something that's 5,000 miles away. A missions trip is you are on mission to accomplish something, to do something, with your group or with your team or by yourself. You can go on your own personal missions trip. This is my mission. And it's as believers, we're all on mission. We're all doing that. Hey, Hannah. And so what we find is, that as Christians are always on mission. There are segmented times for very specific trips like this, which exposes kids to missions and to the mission field and to different cultures and things like that, which is critically important in the growth of a believer, I believe, is that you put yourself in situations that are uncomfortable, that are challenging, that cause you to grow, that cause you to, have to do certain things that you don't want to do. And I think everybody should go on a mission trip. And let's see. Did I bring you back a souvenir, Brooke? Did I bring you back a souvenir? Maybe. I could look. I don't think it was... I didn't know you wanted one, Brooke. I apologize. Next time I go, if you want something... I mean, I can send you like a little thing of coffee or something if you want. I could do that. Yeah, I brought back some souvenirs, usually just for the family, things like that. I picked up some Honduran coffee, which is pretty good. Special blend. My friend Raul, who's an associate pastor there, went and got me some special coffee. I didn't ask for it. The people of Honduras, super generous, just like the people of Costa Rica were super generous. The interpreters we had were excellent. They're great young people, all of them about, 25 and under or 30 and under, and all just fantastic people. Going to be looking at some of the pictures they took later. They took a ton of pictures, which hopefully I will share a little bit later on as well. Any other questions? You guys have any questions about our trip? If you're a youth pastor, maybe you're interested in how the trip's formulated or scheduling or things like that. Maybe if some of you, like I know Josh is on here. Josh, maybe you've taken a mission trip somewhere. Would love to hear from you and other youth pastors maybe that watch this. If you've gone on a mission trip somewhere, leave me some comments. Love to hear where you have gone. Let's see. But questions. Does Hannah have any questions? Feel free to let Hannah, if Hannah wants to ask me a question about Honduras, I'll see if I can answer it. Of course, you can answer it, but if she wants to ask me a question, I'll be happy to answer the question. I even left my Honduran shave on. Probably shave that later. Miss Hannah, I absolutely did have fun. And maybe one day, Miss Hannah, you will go with us, and you can have fun too. How did the people? Janice asks, how did the people react to our departure? Very, very sad. It was like the never-ending goodbye, and there was all kinds of sad people. I had my sad gene, my sad emotion. I had that removed several years ago. And so I don't get sad on these trips because I've been on a number of them already, and I know that you're supposed to be sad, but I don't get sad. I rejoice. I think it's great. I think the trip was awesome, and we go from there. Brooke, do you have do you have plans to return to the same locale, same location? It's a possibility. I mean, it's tough. There are some groups. We meaning, Jonica means we and the other people. I had nothing to do with all that crying nonsense. But yeah, there's like example, there are, and I don't know, maybe some of you that have been on trips like this, some people go back to the same place every year and build a, 5, 10 year, 20 year relationship. Well, except Paul. Thank you for pointing that out. Brooke, that sometimes do I have plans? I'd love to take a team back. I would love to be able to go back and participate with them. I think they do. Once again, it's an outstanding church. It's just the whole place was great. The food was great. Everything was just delicious. But yeah, I think you can do, like this year hopefully we're going back to Mississippi. Now we skipped a year, but we thought we had a good enough, a positive enough influence and impact with the kids we took to that we're going to do it again this year. We'll see what's going to happen with that. Do you bring supplies? Yes. Brooke, good question. We brought sheets. And usually the church lets us know what they need. So we went and visited what's called Teen Challenge, which is a drug rehab center there. We also visited several orphanages while we were there, as well as the school outreaches and things like that. And so we brought, I think my wife had packed a bunch of shampoo and things like that, as well as Jonathan did that as well. Sometimes they ask for toys. Sometimes they ask for clothing. At the end of the trip, we're asked whether or not we want to keep our, if we want to leave any clothes behind. So, a lot of times I'll look through and I'll leave back, 4 or 5, 6 T-shirts or whatever it may be, and leave those behind. So we do, based on what the locals will tell us, we will bring, and based on the ministry we're going to do, we'll bring some supplies that they ask us to bring some. And sometimes you bring an empty suitcase, or you bring you just have one whole suitcase for nothing but supplies. And so that turned out to be really good as well. And just working around those things. So everybody's really good about bringing stuff. And of course, you bring 69 kids on a trip, you're going to have a lot of stuff you can bring and do so. Let's see. Any other questions? Any other questions about my trip? I want to be able to answer them as many as possible. I'm going to sign off here in about 10 minutes and get out of here. Go get ready for tonight. Let's see, anything else I can share about the trip. Once again, I want to thank our, I know eventually maybe some of our interns, that were with us, and they did a super job. Sure do appreciate our interns who interpreted for us. By the way, you're only as good as your interns, right? Steve Mason said, and so I think that's absolutely true. Do you think? Brooke says, do you have plans to move me so I can attend your service again? Well, Brooke, I would love to. Okay, there'll be no fighting here in the chat room, by the way. Listen, I come to you guys through this because I can't, this is the only way that I can be in various places, and I know this is not a service per se, Brooke, you are always welcome. That if you ever want to go on a missions trip with us, put that on your bucket list. If you'd like to come with us, that would be fun to have you with us on a missions trip. So just keep that in mind and keep that into consideration. Or we could do a missions trip to Louisiana. I've done one of those before. I think you're still in Louisiana, if I'm not mistaken. And we could always come down there and do a missions trip in Louisiana, maybe. Always a possibility. No promises being made. But once again, that's why I do things like this. I try to, live, in such a way that it can be broadcast. And I'm documenting the things of my life as a believer, so that it can be a way of showing, not just as a pastor, but as a believer, how you live out your faith. Yes, you go on mission trips. Yes, you do games and things and outreaches, and and you have personal faith and prayer time and devotions and all the things that are part of that. And that's just how I think. How I use Facebook Live and how I use all social media is used as a way to demonstrate, or a way to communicate that in real time. We're seeing showed work. Let's see. The problem is we were seeing showed hard work. Did you ever have some point? overwhelmed. At some point, do we feel overwhelmed? I think the overwhelming part, Janice, hey Becky, I think the overwhelming part of the mission trip is, and I'll speak maybe not, for the kids, the overwhelming part is you can't do as much as you want to do. That's always the overwhelming part. You always want to do more, and yet you are limited by time, by money, by culture sometimes, by language. The kids were working very hard. And the only time you're really overwhelmed, as I believe, is when you feel like you can't do enough. And I think that's the attitude of our kids and all our students who went on the trip. I think the overwhelming part is that you simply cannot do enough. You cannot do enough. When you're in a foreign country and kids are, that's what the locals are there for. That's what the local church is for. We're not there as Americans to bring Jesus to another country. By the way, Jesus is already in Honduras. We were simply there to get in on what Jesus was already doing, what God was already doing in Honduras. We're there to participate in that. We're there to be a part of that. And so, I guess too, it's inevitable that a young person or people that go on mission trips always want to feel like they do more, always want to feel like they do that. And I think that's the overwhelming. I think we overwhelm ourselves with understanding that we are finite people trying to do a good work. And when you can't do any more than what you're doing, you just can't do any more. You push it to the limit you can, and then you have to give it over to the nationals and the local church there to help facilitate all the other ministry. Most memorable moment during my trip. I shared this, and I'll probably wind up sharing it tonight. I shared it as part of a devotion during the week. There was a young man. We were at a school, and we were doing ministry. And, of course, after every, we did 3 or 4 dramas and testimonies. Some of the dramas were funny, some were silly, some were serious, some were, we did dances, things like that. And there was this one young man. He came and he sat down beside me after the program. And of course, we interact with kids. We talk, we play soccer with them, or just hang out and get a translator and be able to talk and communicate with them. But we also just sit around and talk. And so this one young man came and sat down, man. I really felt impressed that I wanted to talk to him and communicate to him, just to say, look, I really felt like the Lord's got something special for you. And there was no interpreter there. And I thought to myself, well, I guess I just wasn't meant to be, or whatever it was. Then I was over somewhere doing something else, and this young man walked really near me, almost kind of like you feel like when somebody wants to talk to you, but they really don't know what to say or what to do or how to connect. And once again, there was no interpreter there. And I'm like so frustrated. I'm like, come on, God, give me another shot at this thing. Give me another chance. And so eventually I found myself in a place where the young man was there. And I said, hey, come here. And there was a interpreter not too far away from me. I want to say it was Brashia. And she came on over and interpreted for me. And basically I was able to communicate with this young man that I really just felt that God was doing something special in his heart, that he was different. I felt he was different than all the other kids that were walking around, that if nothing else, my role was to tell him that he was a special young man, that I felt like God was, I didn't tell him anything too wild and crazy. I didn't tell him he was going into the ministry or was going to be a pastor. I just told him that I felt like God was saying that God has a special plan for you, and I don't know what that is. But I would say that would probably be my special moment as how I felt like God was working through me. I leave, I try to figure out those little parts, and God gives me these little moments and things, but I try to leave all this for the kids. It's their missions trip. I'm not there to be the, whatever. Let's see who. Oh, Alejandro. Sorry, we were not there. You have to learn Spanish. It was a sign. I know, right? It's exactly though, but that's why you were there, Alex. You were there to help me, or Brashia was there to help me, and But that's what the deal is: working together with you guys, right? If we could speak Spanish, Alex, let's be honest, Alex. If we could speak Spanish, we wouldn't need you guys. So I'm so glad that I don't know how to speak Spanish. Because otherwise we don't get to meet you guys. We don't get to be a part of your world. And so anyway, like I said, it was a fantastic trip. All our interpreters did a great job. Any other questions? I'm going to wrap up here. Give you about 3 more minutes, and then I'm going to sign off. And I got to go do other things. Got to get ready for tonight. Get some stuff done for other testimonies and whatnot. Any other questions? Like I said, I'm just glad to be home. Hello, Jesslyn. So good to see you. Hope you're having a fine, fine day, Miss Jesslyn. Let's see. I'm sorry. You're right, Brooke. I probably missed your other question. Would you please go ahead and share your question that I missed? Because I wish to answer it. Say anything else about the trip? Anything else about the trip? Food was delicious. Like I said, that's excellent. Did she laugh? Okay, good. But special shout outs to all the interns of SIAD, as well as the pastor, Pastor Raul, our missionaries, by the way. Let's see. What was the atmosphere like? Okay. The atmosphere was good. The atmosphere was very, very good. It was warm. It was friendly. Just like any city, I think people get things a little crazy. People say missions trips are dangerous, or you're going to a dangerous country. Listen, hello, knock, knock. America is a dangerous place. Go to some parts of any city you're in, and you will find dangerous people. If you are not using wisdom or care or anything else, you go anywhere else. I mean, unless you're unless you're being dropped as a missionary into the middle of a civil war, where fighting is going on and things like that. Listen, you just use wisdom and say, listen, hey, Miss Kinsley, that you simply use wisdom. You're gonna listen. You can get shot or murdered, down the street from your local church. Just like you can get shot and killed in a foreign country. And I don't think the risk factors, unless you're being dropped into a war zone of some kind, is any more dangerous per se. I think if the Lord has you there for a reason, then you're there for the reason. If you're using wisdom and godly wisdom, then you're going to be fine. If you're not using godly wisdom, then you are not going to be fine, whether you're in America or whether you're in a foreign country like Honduras. So, that's just, but the atmosphere, as far as what God was doing, is phenomenal. The atmosphere as far as in the services, the atmosphere in the church, great church service. If you look for SIAD, CEAD church on Facebook, you can catch their services live. They're all in Spanish, but the music is phenomenal. Had great music on the bus all the time. They had worship in Spanish. They had some in English. But really, really good stuff. So the atmosphere overall was pretty tremendous, no matter where we were, because the people that we surrounded ourselves with were tremendous people. I wanted to make, too, I think before I answered your question, Brooke, too, that, we work with missionaries on the ground. There are missionaries who are missionaries to Honduras that we work with. We weren't there, mission trips are set up in a way where we're there to support the local church as well as the local missionaries. And so we want to bless them. And so they participate with us. They let us know the culture. They let us know the landscape. They let us know all those things. So, hello, Miss Ashley. So we work with them. So big shout out to Freddie and to Andy and their wives, Jennifer and Teresa. They did tremendous jobs. We just enjoyed being a part and hanging around with them. So, all right. Any last minute question? Then I'm going to be done. I'm going to answer one more question that you may wish to ask, and then I've just got to go and get some stuff ready for tonight. Hey, Amber. So good to see you. Amber, Shark Week is coming in about a month and a half. Shark Week. It's going to be a good week. Praying for you. Pray for me, Amber. Pray for me. Any other questions about the mission trip to Honduras? Would love to answer your questions. Any last minute things? Would love to answer them for you. That's right. Sharks. Let me see. Anything else? Let's see. I know there's no shark emoji, right? Yeah, there should be. There ought to be a shark emoji. Let's talk to Facebook about that. Last little bit, I would say this. Our last night, as part of our fellowship and kind of our last night of being done, we went to a place called El Patio. It was awesome. Delicious food there. So if you're in Honduras, weird thing was, I wanted to put a little review on Yelp. No Yelp in Honduras. They do not have that app or allow that app for some reason. So I thought that was a bit odd. Our final service, I will say this. I'll close with this thought, unless you guys have another question. We did go to a school the last day of being there, our last ministry day. We wound up going to a school that we were not planned on going to. And I'm going to tell you what, God just poured out, the Holy Spirit onto that school. A lot of young people over all the schools, but this particular school was special in regards to, hey Brent, this school was special just in regards to the fact that we weren't supposed to be there, and the kids were super open. And a funny story was this. Funny story was that the principal of the school was there, and so we prayed. Powerful was to pray for students. Our students praying with their students, even though there was a language barrier. Those kids knew that our kids loved them because they were praying for them. But the funny story was that the principal that we prayed for wound up, falling out in the spirit, was prayed for. And you could hear all the children kind of whisper, say, "Oh no, our principal has died. She's dead." And I'm thinking, great. She goes out in the spirit. The kids think a bunch of Americans came to their school and killed their principal. I'm like, great. That's great press. Wonderful. Mission team goes to Honduras, kills principal. No, it was the spirit. And eventually she got up and wound up telling the kids, and all the kids hugged her and loved her and so forth. So it was kind of funny and very cool at the same time. So, but that is it, guys. That is it. Any last question? Otherwise, I'm going to sign off and be done for the day. I'm so glad that many of you got to stop by. And hey, Dallas, weren't you on earlier? But if you have any further questions, feel free to leave your comments down below. If you happen to be a youth worker or a youth pastor and you're looking for more youth ministry ideas or information, you go to thediscipleproject.net. Hey, Bo, just want to thank all of you for watching today. And like I said, I'll be in and out. Maybe I'll give a report when I come back from youth camp. Maybe I'll talk about youth camp. That'll be fun to do. That'll be in a couple of weeks. And we'll go from there. So, all right, that's it for today, guys. Appreciate you guys hanging out with me for a little bit of your lunchtime to talk about Honduras and all the good things that God did there. I encourage you to go on a mission trip somewhere. Bo Ridley, we need to go back to New York City. That was quite the quality of a mission trip, sir. Revival on the D train. So that's what we call that. All right, that's it for today, guys. Appreciate you guys hanging out, being a part. Don't forget, if you think this is beneficial to somebody, please go ahead and share it. And share with somebody so that they can get some more understanding about missions. So, all right, that's it for today, guys. Appreciate you guys hanging out. And I will see you guys later. Talk to you guys. Bye-bye.